You deserve a tech career you love, coworkers you can count on, innovation you're proud to build. If you're ready to change the world through technology, explore a career at Cox. Make a real impact in engineering, development, cybersecurity, and more, all while experiencing work-life balance, flexible work options, and great benefits. Visit cox.career/tech to find a job you love today. That's cox.career/tech.
There was a time when sunlight turned the earth into a gallery, when elegant estates welcomed works of art that drew us closer and closer together. It was a captivating time. It was spring, this spring at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly while every corner of Biltmore blooms. Reserve now to get spring savings at Biltmore.com.
No music, no intro. Hashtag Saints Twitter podcast, another episode, preview show. Something that just is weird to me. So right before we got on to start recording, my daughter, before she went to the bedroom, was like, your podcast doesn't have an intro. Like, she's like listening on like Apple Podcasts. So like I was like, how do you even know that? Like, what are you talking about? Go in the bedroom. Ryan and I are here. Scott, you know what? I'm going to say it, man. I'm tired of these primetime games. I'm tired. I mean, when they win, like it's great, but these Raiders, Packers, Sean and the team got to show up, man. Like
bro. I mean, remember when it used to be just like, oh shit, it was like, how much will they win by?
It was a wrap, but now it's like, oh, I don't know.
It's just like, oh, please don't embarrass us. You know what I'm
saying? So the Saints are sitting at 2-2. The Bucs just lost to the Bears last night. So they have, they're going against the Chargers, who the Bucs beat last Sunday. Comes out. I tried to get it trending. I tried to get Tyrod back in there. Let Tyrod cook. Didn't take off. Unfortunately,
that boy Long's cooking. Shit.
Yeah. Well, you saying Tyrod's lung is like Trump when he was saluting. Man, he should get every penny from them. So the Saints are gonna go against rookie quarterback Justin Herbert, who has continually we've said on previous shows before, shut me up, shut you up, shut Patrick Claybon up. Like, I don't know where this Justin Herbert came from, but this was not the same play. This was not the same player at Oregon that I saw. I don't know where it came. I don't know who this guy is.
Hey, I was watching Greg Rosenthal on Game Time just now, and he made a good comparison that he kind of reminds you of Andrew Luck when he had, just got his first starts, but he was just kind of slinging it, you know what I'm saying, running around, just slinging it. That's what he kind of reminds you of. It's like, where was this guy in Oregon? Like, what the hell?
Makes no sense. And we talked about this earlier too, in the last episode, in terms of his situation that he has with the Chargers, as opposed to what Joe Burrow has with the Bengals. So I was doing my research before the pod, and the Chargers, as always, are fucking banged up.
As always.
Chris Harris Jr., who they signed in free agency, a big time free agency grab for them, who the Saints were trying to sign as well. He's on IR. Melvin Ingram, who pulled the in training camp holdout that Alvin Kamara took his lead from.
Man, that feels like months ago, bro.
Forever ago, bro. He's on IR. Obviously, Derwin James, he injured himself and he's not playing. in terms of, I was looking at the injury report. Their right tackle, Brian Bulaga, who they got from the Packers, doesn't know if he's going to play. So
Joey Bosa been limited.
He didn't practice yesterday. He was limited today. More than likely, I would guess he's probably going to practice or he's probably going to play. But so with all this said of Justin Herbert, he's played well. The Chargers offensively have played really well. However, have they won a game since he came in against the Chiefs? They lost that game. They didn't beat the Panthers, and then they got beat by the Bucks. So even though, like, in theory, you might think like, oh, this is a good team coming in, the team hasn't been stacking up wins, but it's not going to be an easy game for the Saints to win either.
Right. They got to play 4 quarters. I mean, you saw what they did against Patrick Mahomes. They brought it to OT, and even with a banged up defense, they were able to kind of put together a game plan that kind of limited Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes did what he does, in the end. So it's going to take, I think it's going to take like a 4-quarter game because, the defense, they got Gus Bradley, he still runs a lot of that cover 3,
yes.
Seattle style, like old school Seattle. And it's pretty predictable.
Yes.
And, so I think the Saints should be able to find holes where they need to, if Drew Brees is good and accurate and guys are running routes well and, everybody's in chemistry. But, defensively, they haven't been really good lately. And offensively, he's a young boy and he pulls the trigger. He's going to let it fly.
He ain't scared.
So, what scares me is just, one, how the Saints DBs have been. We should be getting Marshawn Lattimore back.
It should be sorry to cut you, but it should be a game if he shadows Keenan Allen, which I think he will. That should be a Marshawn game where he's engaged because Keenan Allen is a upper echelon elite wide receiver, and Marshawn gets up for matches like that. It should be a great matchup to watch.
Yeah, and I also think it's a pretty good, just physically, it's a good matchup for Marshawn.
Yes,
he's not a guy that's going to run away from Marshawn. He's
technician,
he's a technician.
Running.
Yeah, kind of similar to Mike Thomas in many ways. And but Marshawn, if he's playing up to par, he's going to be able to just stick with him right in his hips and contest for balls and those 50-50 balls and stuff like that. And so I think that should be a good matchup. My worry is, when Justin Herbert just steps back and lets it fly with the way the refs been calling Saints defensive backs, with the way, our defensive backs play, they're kind of handsy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of them yellow flags, bro.
It's exhausting. That's a concern because we seen what can happen 15 yard. Now, shout out to our boy Eric had that, at Who Dat Homo, where the news report came that if a player goes to argue with the ref and the ref doesn't have his mask on, that's can be unnecessary sportsmanlike penalty, 15 yards. And Eric was like, just more ways for the Saints to get penalized.
That's it.
What's going to happen too, right? It's not going to be a single penalty on Sunday. Not a one. Come Monday, you're going to see at least 2.
Bruh, that shit is so annoying, bruh. But it's kind of like how we feel about police brutality and stuff. Because there's nothing you. It's like they investigate themselves. So what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's so frustrating, bro. And the league is so messed up where you can't even criticize the referees or the coach. Coaches will get fined.
Fine.
If you go overboard and criticize the refs to the media. So it's ugh. But what you got?
So that's a concern that you have. Another concern, speaking of Herbert, is if he pulls it down, let's say he gets a look, and there's good coverage, and if the Saints are going to play a lot of man, Dennis Allen, he's gonna he can book. He can book.
Yeah. Oh, he could go, and we've seen that hurt the Saints defense over and over and over. We've seen that. That was. I mean, I expect to see Herbert break a few runs and a few first downs. You just got to hope that they tackle him.
Here's the concern. If you want the key to the game, here's my key to the game. Hunter Henry against Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm has had decent, like the Packers game, he played really well, but he is getting obliterated by tight ends. Like even in that Lions game where Hackensack, I know that's not his real name. Hackensack had that catch. Like he is in position, like he was there, and every tight end in the league right now is making plays against him. I still have a little PTSD against what Darren Waller did to him. And Hunter Henry is a good tight end. And if Dennis Allen's game plan is to put Malcolm on Hunter Henry, like it's gonna be a recipe. I hope it's not, but it smells like it's a recipe for disaster. I don't know where they got away from it last season, where we saw a lot of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson match up with tight ends, and he played them extreme. Like if you think back to the 49ers game, obviously everyone remembers the play that Kittle had at the end. But if you look at it in the totality, like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson plays well against tight ends. And I don't know, now they got Malcolm. It's like, okay, Malcolm, you cover the tight end. That's not working. So that's my concern is Hunter Henry, offensively for the Chargers. And speaking of Chargers injuries, I didn't even bring up a huge one in terms of, Austin Eckler, their do-it-all running back, hurt, not going to play. So it's there for the Saints to take it. They have to play well to win.
Right. And also Justin Herbert, he does take his chances with throws. So there will be opportunities for picks. He's aggressive. He's played really aggressive. So, I know the Saints defense hasn't been like ball hog crazy, but there will be opportunities in this game to take them, especially if the offense can get up early, get some points up, and kind of force him to be more aggressive with the ball, and the pass rush can get going, which is pretty much my main focus for the Saints is where is this pass rush going? I feel like that is the number one key to the defense right now, because going into the season, it was a lot of ifs, but the hope was, this is a deep stacked defensive line. Looking at the injury report, two first still hanging around. He's been cited at practice, so I don't know if this is his week. I'm not betting on it.
We'll see.
I'm not putting any faith on it.
Tell me why. Was it yesterday when there was like talks of Trey Hendrickson was not spotted at practice? Like I was like, oh, Trey's out, not Trey.
Not Trigger Trey. That's our best pass rusher right now.
Not Trey, bro.
What if I told you 2 months ago that Trigger Trey was going to be the Saints' best pass rusher?
I would say that the Saints would be looking to pick top 5. Honestly, like I am. Honestly, like I'd be like, so here, and the offensive line of the Chargers is beat up, and I feel like we talked about this in the Raiders game, and it was like a non-factor. It was like, and so what?
Right. So
but
what?
The defensive line has to. They have to play well. Like they have to push the pocket on a rookie quarterback. Dennis Allen's going to throw every type of look at Herbert because that's what he does, especially with any defensive coordinator who is playing against a rookie quarterback is going to throw the kitchen sink at them. That's just what happens. So your point to there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be chances. It's going to be there, but the defensive line has to provide pressure. Cam, if Marcus plays, whatever. And I'm going to keep harping on it, and I know I sound like a broken record.
No, do it.
Where is Zach Bond? Come on. Where is he? I'm sorry.
I want to know what he looks like. I want to know what he looks like.
Bro, when he made a stop on special teams against the Lions, and I tweeted like, "Oh, he exists."
I saw that. I was like, "Look at him," you know. But I want to see him on defense, man. It's special team shit. I want to see him on defense, standing up on third down
and rush. Just rush.
That's it.
It's 3rd and 12.
Or even spy. Even if he's just playing spy, that'll be awesome just to see him do that.
Come on, kid. I don't know what it is, and it's weird. And it really seems like that the injury he had in training camp where he pulled up chasing Taysom completely derailed because he was getting snaps with the first team. He was, he was in there. And then it's funny because we talked about in training camp of how like, Kaden Ellis is like he's the starting. Man, Kaden Ellis doesn't play. No. Because they're never in base.
Right, exactly.
So it's just I feel like I'm a broken record. I feel like I'm annoying because I'm bringing it up. But man, where is he? He's a 3rd round pick who a lot of draft nicks said that he should have been hired. He had a diluted test, blah, blah, blah. With a team that is struggling as much as the Saints are struggling rushing the passer.
That's the key. I could say
it'd be different if they were just balling.
Just cooking. If they cooking is like, why rush the rookie in? You know what I'm saying? Okay. But they need pass rush right now. They need someone. They need to find a spark. And maybe you don't see it in practice, but sometimes you just got to get the guy on the field. Just get the guy on the field and see what happens.
And to me, like it's inexcusable that he's not playing. And it's funny that the Saints are playing the Chargers because who he always kind of or I think Scott made the comparison to him, and then I saw it because at first when I watched him, he came off more Kyle Benoit. Scott Wright of Draft Countdown compared him to USC 42, who that's who he is. Like I will never pronounce his name correctly. Who plays for the Chargers? He is USC 42. I was a huge fan of his coming out, and exactly of how he plays the game. He's an off-the-ball linebacker. He rushes the passer. He played. He has a lot of similarities to Zach Bond. Can we not see him? Like I don't know, man.
I mean, come on, man. We going into week 5? Like
week 5. Anyway, so those are the things to look out when the Saints are on defense. So if Janoris doesn't go, and it sounds like he won't, he's missed 2 practices in a row. I doubt he's going to go. I think you gotta roll with Marshawn. I think you gotta roll with P-Rob.
He earned it.
He did, man. Like he's like, you know what, West, I got you. Got you.
And Mike Williams, I know he's banged up, but I think there's a chance he could play. I think he was limited today.
There's a chance he could play. He's always banged up. And
always.
The scary thing with Mike Williams, though, is he is like a rich man's Brandon Coleman. So, like, he will have, like, a catch.
That one catch.
Catch.
That make you a believer, like, oh, is this Mike Williams? Is he turning the corner? No, he's just that one catch, but
that's it. I'm done. Don't ask him to do any more the rest of the game. Like he'll have a 40-yard, 50-yard, 60-yard bomb, and then that's it. With the Saints' defense in their secondary and the struggles that they had prior to the Lions game, or even that first drive of the Lions game, like that's still kind of scary because like that potential, like he could be streaking down the field is possible.
Yeah, especially with blown coverages.
Oh my gosh.
Miscommunications and eyes in the backfield. Switching the offense. Just where are you? Saints offense was a big story in the beginning of the season. Where are you right now with the offense? Like, how do you just gut feeling how you feel about them?
I feel better than I did about them the first games of the season. I feel, and we've seen this story before, right? Yeah. Like for whatever reason, offense always struggles. And I know it was against the Lions, but just how the line performed and how Drew just seemed comfortable in the pocket. Like when he's comfortable and he's not dealing with shit around him or just has or he's not feeling ghost. We saw the old Drew last week, right? Like, that's Drew. That's Drew. Yeah. And as long as that can continue, keep in mind, we should be getting Mike Thomas back.
Yeah,
on Sunday, which is huge. Like, that is not a small thing. Like, that's a huge thing. We saw how Drew has gotten comfortable with Emmanuel Sanders. Like, as soon as I saw that back shoulder catch against the Lions, I was like, okay, they're good. Yeah, like, they're fine.
Good.
They're fine.
They're good.
And then the emergence of Traquan, and then we have AK playing like MVP, like a player that's playing at MVP level that's not a quarterback. Yeah. The way that Kamara is playing right now, and potentially they may get Jared Cook back. I mean, you have to be more optimistic of where the offense is. However, and I tweeted about this, our boy, sitting down at practice. I don't know. There's some, shout out to Eric again for pointing that out. I don't know if he had some gummy bears beside him. If he plays on Monday and we see a regression in the offensive line, that is a gross negligence, gross coaching.
That would be 100% on the coaching.
That is 100% on the coaching 100%. Staff. That's like, I'm not saying the Detroit Lions have a stout pass. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that the Packers game when he went out, and the Lions game, the offensive line before Ramczyk went out were cooking. Like that, you could see it. Like it was cooking. So if Pete plays on Monday and we see a regression in the offensive line, that would, I'm not even invested as I used to be as we've talked about, at nauseum, but that would piss me off. Like as a fan, it would piss me off.
Yeah, and I think I was listening to Michael Lombardi today, and he was talking about the sunken cost fallacy, which sometimes you hear it in business and finance and stuff like that. When businesses and stuff like that, when they invest heavily into something, and even though it's not really working out for them, they just keep going back to it because, hey, we invested so much into it. It's going to come out. It's going to work out in the end. And you just keep going back, and you just invested more and more and more. You just keep investing more and more and more, and at some point you just got to take your L. Now, I'm not saying you just got to eat it. And look, I'm not going to go as far to say, hey, cut Pete and stuff like that right now. But you got to roll with what's working. You know what I'm saying? You can't worry about we drafted Pete high, we paid him all this money, whatever. Okay, you did it. Take your hit.
So
roll with what's working.
So here's the thing, right? We've seen the Saints do this numerous times. Let's go back to 2017. They draft Antonio Pittman, what was it, third round from Ohio State, running back. Pierre Thomas comes in as an undrafted free agent, outperformed Antonio Pittman. He doesn't even make the team. He's cut. So
and that was one of the most classic moves ever. Like, so they still use that in their pitch when they're trying to get undrafted free agent.
So I just want to know, what does Pete have on the coaching staff? Like, is that, like I don't know what it is.
Sean know his daddy or something, man. It's like when we drafted him, it was like, oh, I knew his pop. It was like, oh man, what you doing, Sean, bro? Like, come on, man. Nepotism with football players. I can understand nepotism with coaching, but with football players, bro, come on.
And it would be a different story if he was consistently above average, wasn't hurt all the time, and like wasn't such an outlier when you look at like the performance of the offensive line. Yeah. But like he usually is all three of those things. And so it's just, I don't know. I don't want to go on like a whole podcast. Yeah, like, just back.
We sitting on Pete hard. I'm gonna chill out. We sitting on Pete
though. But let's look at the Chargers defensively. So obviously they have a bunch of injuries, but they still have good players. They have still a good front seven. They got Joey Bosa. They took a player last year in the draft, Jerry Tillery, who had like a really bad rookie season, but he's been playing really well this year. They got Linval Joseph up in the middle. So it may be hard to potentially run against the Chargers. And then linebacker-wise, they got Kenneth Murray, who we loved coming out, who's been playing pretty well. They got USC 42. They got Denzel Perryman, who we also loved coming out of the U. Yeah. And then cornerback-wise, they got Desmond King, and they got Casey Hayward. They have a good defense.
Yeah.
Now you can argue like maybe the scheme that they run on defense doesn't maximize that potential, but I would say that, and I said at the beginning, that with the number of the injuries that the Chargers have, it's not like you have bookends of Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram rushing the passer. Like you can, we've seen what the Saints can do against stud pass rushers when it's just one, when it's like Mac. Sean Payton makes good game plans to, negate that, a player like that taking the game over. So my question to you is, how do you think, or how do you see, or how do you think Sean and the offense should try to attack the Chargers defensively?
Well, I think, for one, I think it starts with protection. I think they're going to key in on Joey Bosa. If you saw against last week, the Chargers against the Bucs, Wirfs, matter of fact, my dude Wirfs, who got, just like flipped by Mac last night.
Arm drag.
Oh, just arm, just pop. Anyway, but he, Wirfs did work against Joey Bosa last week. Like he was just stonewalling him. Like Joey Bosa just was not a factor last week. And he's playing injured, so I hate to wish injury, but hopefully, Joey Bosa is still kind of working through whatever he's working through, and he'll probably be going against Armstead. I know Armstead was a little banged up too, so hopefully Armstead to kind of get the better matchup. And I think ultimately it comes down to that. It just comes down to protection, and that's always been the case with Drew Brees and the Saints. Like,
yep, that's it.
You protect. Drew Brees can cook. Gus Bradley, he doesn't do a lot of like really crazy things with coverage. So I think if they show what the Saints expect, they should be able to do. Now, these are NFL teams, so they can change up. Drew Brees talked last week how the Lions changed up what they expected them to do. They're usually a heavy man coverage team, and they kind of switched up with like a mix of zone and man.
Oh, yeah.
But they still diced it up. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm expecting the same. I expect them to be able to just kind of cut up that Chargers defense. The linebackers, even though I like Kenneth Murray, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah.
My dude Perriman, he's like straight. He's not a coverage guy.
Yeah, he's down. He's
downhill.
Yeah.
So I think there would be lots of opportunities in the middle of the field for Drew Brees.
And that should be like, honestly, if I'm Sean, I will look at it. Always see what you can do against a team in terms of running the ball, right?
Yes.
If Ram and Ruiz are playing, you run right until they can't stop it anymore. Like that's.
I wanted to kiss Sean Payton last week. I mean, just running 42 times, and because you see it, like you see, okay, the offensive line is cooking against the run. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. So it's the same thing.
One of the most outlier. You remember that Bills game? Game?
I'll never forget. One of my favorite Saints games, honestly.
Ever. Right. Like, anyway. But being that, we talked about the linebackers. If I'm Sean and, maybe the running game, maybe, the Chargers front seven is doing a good job at containing the run and, they can't run and they have to pass. This should be a game where you put AK right over, like if the tight end, if Cook is in line, you put AK right there and you just let him cook all the middle of the field. Because Kenneth Murray, we love Murray. We love Perryman. They can't guard him. No. They cannot guard him. Also, it'd be really, and then also it's going to be interesting to see like how, if Mike Thomas does play, how he's going to be, I don't want to say integrated because the offense is really creative for him, but how he is going to slowly be integrated back in the offense because he hasn't played football since week one. Like, what type of football shape is he actually in?
What shape is he in? How's he looking? How's he moving? That's really all I'm worried about. I really don't care how he performs, honestly. I mean, if he has one or two catches, okay. But I just want to see how he looks. I don't want to see a gippy. You see how Mike Evans look with Tampa Bay every week. He just he makes a big catch, like he's producing, and he's barely making it to the sideline. He's barely making it back to the huddle. It's just like, oh, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
But I think they did good by just just sitting them down
They did.
just sucking it up and just taking the hits. So hopefully, even if he's not 100%, hopefully he's like close to 100.
And also, I think if Mike, if he does play, and I think I get the sense that he will play. They have some good outside cornerbacks. King is a good cornerback.
Yeah.
Casey Hayward's a good cornerback. Wouldn't shock or surprise me at all to see Sean put Mike in the slot, have Emmanuel outside, have Traquan outside, let him do work in terms of the middle of the field, run some crossers, getting away from coverage, what have you, to get open. So it's going to be a fun game. I am still super annoyed that it's a primetime game, but let me set the table. Saints win on Monday. They go to 3-2, and then they go into a bye. And then at that point, I believe if they beat the Chargers on Monday, I don't know if they're tied with Tampa for the top of the division, whatever. But or maybe they'll be number one first because they have the tiebreaker against Tampa
right now. Yeah,
right now. So then you go into your bye, and then you get a chance to just fucking reconfigure.
Yeah, reconfigure, lick your wounds.
Yeah, just reconfigure, and then have the second half. Maybe you didn't have the start that you wanted, right? The Raiders game, the Packers game, and that Packers game was there for them to win, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I know everyone's slobbing the Packers knob. The Saints gave it to the Packers defense that game. Mm-hmm. So you can set yourself up looking pretty, thinking we're 3-2, we're going into bye, and then we can figure out the rest of the season from there. It's a nice position to be in, but they got to win. They got to go in and win.
Just win this game, man. Win that game. You go in the bye with a W, 2 weeks to lick your wounds. Then you come out, and who do we play? The Panthers?
It's the Panthers and then the Bears.
Panthers and the Bears. The Panthers, that's, even with a new coach and all, Teddy Bridgewater, I always expect this a tough, just a tough battle. But, that's a chance for you to just take care of business.
Let me give you the slate after the bye. Panthers, Chicago, Tampa, San Francisco, Atlanta, Denver, Atlanta, Philly, KC, Vikings, Panthers.
Man, I'm just saying, if you can win this game and then you get right after the bye, you kind of just retinker and clean some things up. And if you could you could like literally just from the schedule, if you're playing real well and playing Saints football how they should be able to play, you could go on a nice 6-game run.
Bro, it is very
and that'll put you in great position,
Like I'm looking at it, it's and this is not us being like Saints homers. We're just looking like it is very feasible. Like it's not like improbable that could happen. But it's a lot different going to the bye 3-2 as opposed to going to the bye 2-3.
Oh yeah, and then then you're worried and you kind of press it. And what I do like is, even though those teams that you listed aren't stellar, they aren't like bottom dwellers either. So you know how the Saints are. You get one of them, just desperate 1 in 5 teams or whatever that's just desperate. Saints, fall victim to them all the time. But
these the time.
Yeah. So they got teams on there that are, still competitive, but just not, they're not like, super teams or whatever. So they should be able to just get up for every game, and hopefully you can just go on a run. I wanted to ask you I've been seeing a lot of Saints fans chirping about Taysom Hill. Like, damn, where's Taysom at? What's Taysom? Every time he does something, it's either a mistake or it's another negative play. I think he had fumbles, not fumbles, but just kind of negative.
Bad snaps. Yeah.
Snaps. It's like, what's up?
I think he's pressing, and it sounds weird to say, but I feel like Sean is trying to press him to get plays, right? So the thing that's very surprising to me, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the plays where he was used as tight end and making plays down the field and stuff like, or just, like, I feel like everything for him is like, he's coming in, they're doing like these read options, blah, 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 but he's not playing, whether it be wide receiver or tight end as much as he was playing last season. Like where's the Taysom that we saw against the Titans last season? Like, I don't know where he is, or the Panthers. And I think Kev on Twitter, of Saints Twitter, made a good point where he potentially thinks that, like, maybe Taysom and his agent talked to Sean or talked to the team and was like, hey, if we're going to take this contract extension, like, I don't want to do as much, tight end, wide receiver stuff. Like, I want to, more like, and like maybe that conversation did happen. But what's weird to me is, like, when you have someone like Mike Thomas goes down and Drew wasn't on the same page with Emmanuel for a while. Like, why are you not using Taysom on what he did well? Like, let him cook. Like, he's a football player.
Right.
And one of the biggest things, and this is why I really try to avoid Twitter when watching football games, is when, oh my God, if Taysom makes fucking bad play, fucking they come out like fucking droves.
$16 million guaranteed for a gadget player.
Blocked. Can't fucking stand it. Right. Can't stand it. So I don't know, because he's been like a big part of our offense, and now he's just not there. And it's weird because even like the read option plays that he comes in for, usually.
Well, I've noticed he's been making some bad reads there.
Terrible reads.
Yeah, it's not even like the play breaking down. He's not doing it. He's keeping when he's not supposed to. He's not keeping when he should keep it. It's like, what you doing, bro? And I don't know if that goes back to off season, because I know they don't really practice Taysom packages during training camp or whatever, and so they just kind of do it during the season. I don't know. But it worked in the past, so I don't know.
Right. So it's what's throwing it off this? I don't know. It's
but
weird.
It could just be the whole offense just kind of trying to find its rhythm. So
yeah. So we'll see.
But it feels like something that could get going again. It's not like an injury or something really hindering. It's just trying to get back on track and executing properly. So it wouldn't surprise me if it starts cooking back at some point. Yeah. Hopefully Monday night it'll be nice, but
The analogy I would use to it is if you think about like a basketball player who's in a slump, and they're just in a shooting slump and just can't. It happens. It happens. Like, it's a thing.
Okay. I mean, look, you can look at Patrick Mahomes. He was, I don't think anybody would argue is the best quarterback in the game right now, and probably going to. Most people feel he's probably going to end up, one of the best of all time, Hall of Fame, etc.
Thanks,
but
Ryan.
He's like,
thanks for all the accolades. Appreciate that.
But look, he hasn't played great this season so far. Like, he's had great plays, like outstanding plays, but he hasn't had like a great full game performance yet. So, like, it just happens to players. So, maybe that's the case with Taysom Hill, to where he's just kind of, and it's a funny time for him because he just plays so many different positions, and he doesn't get consistent snaps. So, like, when he's on the field, everybody notices. So if he makes a mistake, everybody's going to remember what Taysom Hill made.
Everybody, yes.
Only going to get a few plays. Other than that, anything else in the league? Just news from this week, or
one other thing we don't really. So we don't talk about special teams a lot. So Deontay isn't going to play. We know who's getting the call on Sunday, don't we?
Oh, Tommy.
Oh, God. Nigga, I'd rather have Tommy Lee Jones returning punts back there instead of this little niglet. Like, come on.
Come on, man. Like, just out of straight up, like, just don't do that to us. Like, just don't bring those bad feelings back. Like, just straight up, like, don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's bad juju. Like just keep the bad juju away from us. Like, and of course, he's gonna get the fucking call up on Monday. He's gonna play. He's gonna do the returning.
Am I tripping? Did Ty Montgomery's on the IR, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he went to IR. That was just
like, I would rather, why can't Callaway get back there? And just why does it have to be him? Why? But so that's something to look for special teams. Something else is in regards to. I just wanted to make a point that the Chargers, Michael Badgley is a good NFL kicker. So, there's certain teams where depending, with their kicker, even if they get like over, over a certain place,
yeah,
they're going to punt or maybe they'll go for it instead of kicking the field goal. If the Chargers get over the 50 and get, even if it seems far, don't be surprised if Michael Badgley come out and attempts a field goal because he is a good field goal kicker. He has a big leg. So
and his nuts kind of shrinking. He's definitely he's about that kicking. He will not go for it on 4th and 2 and kick a.
Try to kick a 56 Anthony, good old Anthony Lynn.
Man, I like the guy, but it's like, come on, bro.
He's fine.
Try to win some games for me,
I'll let you start with things about the league because I need to pull up. I never have it up. Like I need to pull up like the week 5 schedule, see like even what's going on.
Oh, shit. Trying to think who playing this week. Nothing stands out as far as like what's popular. I was just thinking about like just what we don't like. Haskins getting benched.
I think we all saw that coming. Did we not?
Judging by Twitter, everybody was like, "Oh man, he only got 4 games."
All right, listen. Okay, I am a supporter of black quarterbacks. I love seeing black quarterbacks thrive, but I saw 2 games. I've seen enough football. Like you see it, and with him, I watched that Washington offense, and you just saw it wasn't working. You just saw it. And I saw like someone had a tweet like saying like, oh, like if you're a black quarterback, like, oh, you can only be like a starter or like a 3rd stringer. And I was like, you don't really die on the Dwayne Haskins hill? Like this is the hill you want to die on? I don't know. But what do you think about Haskins?
Oh man, I just never saw it.
Yeah,
like it was just that simple. Like with young quarterbacks, you just kind of look for it, like that little it. Where it's like even if they were like a bad team, but you still see like, okay, yeah, you could build him around that. If he just gets 2 wide receivers and builds up his offensive line,
like
with him, I was just like, I'm like, what are you doing
here? Even in the cesspool that Sam Darnold's in, like
you could still see it like 2 or 3 times a game. Like,
yes, you can. Like, oh, okay, there it is. Like I see it with him with Haskins. Like I've never seen it.
Because he's a guy that needs to, he needs to kind of play with anticipation, but he doesn't. He just like kind of sees it, throws it, and he's not.
You can't be a see it thrower quarterback in 2020, man. Like it doesn't work.
Right. Unless you got like a bazooka, and he doesn't have a bazooka. He has a nice arm, but he doesn't have like a Patrick Mahomes type bazooka, and he's not like super mobile. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of,
he's slow.
Yeah, it's like, what are you giving me? Okay, you're not playing with anticipation. You can't move around. You can't get me yards. He's one read, period. Like there's no 1 read, 2 read, 3. It's 1 read that doesn't work, then sack or throw the ball away or negative play or something like that. Like I don't know, and I still thought they gave up on him kind of early, but look, it's a new coach, and it's like, Mike Lombardi today, he was talking about how basically that was Dan Snyder's pick. Like Dan Snyder picked Dan Haskins. He loved him. He like went to the same high school as Dan Snyder's son. You know what I'm saying? It was like one of those things where he just loved Daniel Haskins, and he drafted him. He sees his guy, and Rivera's coming in there. He's trying to completely rebuild this entire franchise. He didn't pick that guy. You know what I'm saying? He has to make a choice. He wants to see where his team is, who's actually good, and he has to make evaluations. And also, Lombardi, he was talking about how, the league didn't have a real positive look at Haskins during the draft last year. I mean, he would blow people off. Lombardi talked about how, Lombardi, he goes to this thing where he talks to different prospects and, how to deal with the media and how to deal with interviews with coaches and stuff like that. And he had a meeting with Haskins, and Haskins people set up the meeting, and Haskins just like blew it off. Like, he didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? And this is Mike Lombardi. I'm not saying like Mike Lombardi is like the top person, but he knows a lot of people. So it's like,
right.
You want to press him? So he's not screwed on right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, come on, get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that'll come with, with immaturity and stuff like that. But if it's not there, it's like, why waste your time right now, man?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, the his story obviously isn't finished, but it's not. I mean, it's not a good look for him right now. If you look at, Daniel Jones still starting in New York.
Yeah. Shit, will he get benched soon? Because it ain't been looking.
I mean, if you go back and just look at that quarterback class for that, it's not.
Yeah, it ain't looking pretty.
So I'm just gonna some interesting games coming up Sunday. Probably the biggest game are Colts versus Browns. Both teams are 3-1.
Ain't that some shit?
Ain't that something?
And Phillip Rivers haven't looked good to me at all.
Yeah, that defense is carrying that team.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see because they hadn't played anybody really good either. So I want to see what the Colts really look like. I'm not saying the Browns are great, but that offense. We saw it. They could put up some points, even against it's a bad defense they went against last week. But I mean, they could put up some points. You know what I'm saying? OBJ cooking. He's the happiest I've seen him look ever, like in years. I haven't seen him look this happy.
It's been a while.
Getting the ball, he's getting the ball, making plays. You
get the active full. You know how he
That's good to see him. Like he still looks excellent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he's fell off. So
how about we? Speaking of Daniel Jones, 0-4 Giants going against the 1-3 Cowboys.
Ooh-wee. As a matter of fact, I picked the Cowboys at my job for the pick 'em.
You have to. You have to. If they don't win this game,
like y'all don't win this one.
Ooh.
But I mean, look, Dak just keep cooking, bro. Like he, I don't care about the wins, man. Just keep putting up the points, bro, for my fantasy.
You just talk about your fantasy team, right?
Oh man, Phil, I can't believe I'm doing that because I hate people that talk like I don't care about your fantasy team, and I know y'all don't care about my fantasy team. But
but we do have a hashtag Saints Twitter podcast fantasy football league where exactly. I'm 3-1, you're 4-0, even though you hardly set your rosters. So
don't touch it at all.
I feel bad for Joe. Bengals, Ravens. Joe gonna be running a lot. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Just be running a lot.
Yeah, Joe gonna be running.
And this is a game, and I'm a little upset that he's not playing yet. Dolphins and 49ers. Like, can we see Tua? Like, I know what I'm gonna get with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We know it already.
We all know it. Everybody knows.
Can we see Tua, please?
At some point, it's like, what are y'all doing? Like,
you got to evaluate it.
Like, yeah, like I know he came off an injury, but like he's been on the active roster. Like, okay, like play the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you might not look ready in practice. I mean, look at Herbert. You know what I'm saying? Herbert didn't even know he was going to play like until like 10 minutes before the game started.
Insane.
See what you got.
Insane.
The boy is talented. Tua is talented, man. Like, let the boy play.
So let me say this as a Saints fan, and I know everyone loves ragging the Falcons. I mean that's our national pastime.
Yes, Lord.
But we might be a little careful because they're 0-4, and they're not as bad as a team as the Jets are, obviously. But you don't want them picking number 1 overall. That's all I'm saying. I don't want the Saints defense dealing with Trevor Lawrence for 12, 13, 14 years. I don't want it. Don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, man, if they can't take care of it, now this is definitely like Dan Quinn would get fired. Dan Quinn would get fired before Adam Gase if he doesn't win this game. Like they gotta win that game
against the
and Joe Flacco is starting.
No, it's the Panthers. No, they played the Panthers.
Oh, they played the Panthers. I thought
yeah. The Jets. No, the Broncos play the Patriots.
Okay.
No, wait, you're talking about Joe Flacco.
I was talking about the Jets.
That's the Cardinals.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, the Falcons. I mean, I don't know, man. The Falcons might lose that game, man.
No, I don't expect them to. I don't expect them to beat the kid. I don't expect them to beat the Panthers, bro.
Oh man,
I don't. And speaking of winless teams, so Bill O'Brien, boom, see ya, out of there.
Peace.
0-4 Texans against the 1-3 Jags.
Jags.
Really? Like, to me, this just strikes me as a game that, like, Deshaun isn't going to let them lose. Like, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags get everybody right. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is the game where it's like, everybody going to be like, oh, yeah, the Texans made a good decision getting rid of Bill O'Brien. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we've been saying that for like a year or two, so that's not surprising. But we put it on, we put it in front of you on there on the table in terms of our preview. Looking forward to the Chargers game. So just like all primetime games, the Rapid Reaction podcast will be available. Like, we're going to record. So as soon as the game's over, we're going to start recording. If it gets a blowout, if it becomes a blowout either way, we're going to start recording. One day, and I don't know how it would work because I think every time I watch these things, I feel like I'm at least 10 to 15 seconds behind like everyone else. But it would be perfect if we could do just a live pod where we're just commenting on the game as the game is happening.
Oh, like, man. We might have to do like a video.
Oh, bruh. Oh, God.
Just the video, just rapid react, just live reaction to the game.
That'd be great. But yeah, so we will be recording Monday night after the game. So it's the weekend. That means I need to go to the store and get me some beverages so I can be in the right mindset to record on Monday night. That's all I'm saying.
Get loose, baby. Get loose.
That's all I'm saying. So also that's Monday. Obviously there's a bye week. So obviously after Monday Night Football, Saints are going on the bye. I do have someone in mind. I'm going to try to get on the show next week. I don't know if it's going to be able to be next week, but I do have someone in mind to be on the show, to get on the show, hopefully, if it works out. But we'll see. We got to take it day by day. But Ryan and I have shown our pattern is we shoot. We don't care. Boom. Shots up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I would say largely it's worked more than it hasn't, which is great. Like, we're very thankful of the guests that we've been able to get on the show without question. So we're just gonna keep this thing going. Our Patreon is continuing to get steam. So we thank all our Patreons, everyone, regardless to who's contributing to the Patreon. We love y'all. We love the support. We really appreciate it. And on top, and on top of that, like, we do have things coming down the pipeline. We have merch coming. Like Ryan have said, we want to make this. And it's funny because when we started doing this around the draft, like, it was just something fun for us to do. Like, we didn't have any inclination for it to become what it has, but we are so thankful of where it is right now. We're averaging, probably, like Ryan said, told me, like an easy 400, listens per recap show, which is just fantastic. So we're going to keep the momentum going for you guys.
Yes. So keep it coming. And go back and listen to the last episode with Cynthia Freedom.
Please.
We worked hard to get that one on, and she killed it. If you especially if you're in the analytics and high level football stats. Just go check that out. Just give it a listen.
Yeah, it was a great episode. What the buzz that we were getting from that episode is through the roof right now. So shout out to Cynthia again. I mean, obviously I know she's not listening, but big shout out to her. She brought it. And we hopefully may be able to get her back sometime later on in the season and talk about more analytics. That was great. All right, we're wrapping it up. We're going to get out of here. With that, we'll be back Monday night. With that, we're out.
Peace.
Picture this. You're not just fixing cars, you're living your passion every day. At Cox, you'll work on a diverse range of automobiles. Surrounded by a team of friendly, like-minded individuals, you'll enjoy great pay and benefits. Ready to make this a reality? At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel techs to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. Learn, grow, and fine-tune your career as a technician at Cox. Find out more at cox.career/autotech.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.